Welcome to the Following the Joy podcast with me, Debbie Westwell, confidence and mindset coach and massive travel enthusiast. This podcast is a place to talk about being the best version of yourself, following your heart, making scary changes and having fun on this adventure that we call life. I'm your biggest cheerleader and I want you to know that it is never too late to start over and make a life you are excited to get out of bed for. So let's go and get following the joy. Hello. On today's episode, I am chatting with Amy Rumball, who has had an amazing weight loss journey, and she's actually set up a collective called the Women's Wellbeing Collective, where she basically wants to create a space for women to prioritise their self-care. And she's done it in a way that so she can get funding so that she can offer it to people who maybe don't have the money to be able to prioritise their self-care. Her specialism is actually in holistic weight loss, and we're talking a lot about that. And she has a signature program called the 30-Day Reset, and she uses intermittent fasting as what helped her lose her weight. So she shares about her own weight loss journey. She lost 7 stone in a couple of years, and basically she's found her joy in the process of doing that, and she's learned to love herself, and she shares some hints and tips on the way. We have a really, really good conversation. She's really open and honest. And, you know, it's not about one size fits all. So if you are kind of feeling that you are a certain age, she's mid-40s as well. So if you're kind of feeling a certain age, if you're feeling like you might have a little bit of weight to shed, if you are not happy with yourself and lacking a little bit of self-confidence, honestly, this is the episode for you to listen to. So as always, enjoy. Hey, Amy, welcome to the Following the Joy podcast. I am so happy that you're here, and thank you for spending time with me today.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It literally is. Okay, so for my lovely listeners, please just go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name's Amy Rumball. I am a holistic wellbeing coach, and I've got an organisation, a CIC called the Women's Wellbeing Collective, which I set up a few years ago based on my own experience that I'll talk a little bit about today, where I support women. I specialise in holistic weight loss. So I support women to kind of lose weight if that's what they want to do. But it's not just about the losing the weight, it's about everything else that you gain. So, yeah, and I'm absolutely loving it. It's going really well.
Oh, amazing. Okay, so for anybody who doesn't know, what's CIC?
A CIC is a community interest company. So I've just set it up, as a community interest company, which means I can work with women because I have my sort of private arm where I work with my clients. But what I wanted to do, this was really important to me, is because lots of this work and lots of this support can be financially inaccessible. So what I wanted to be able to do was apply for grants and funding to be able to work with women who wouldn't ordinarily be able to afford it. So I can work with a range of women.
That is amazing. Like,
yeah, that's great.
Yeah, because I mean, how many people out there have either got issues with weight, or like they're not feeling supportive, or they're lonely, or, you know, like
exactly.
Single mums, you know, you're a mum all the time. You don't necessarily have adult time to be your own person in your own head, or, you know, there's so many people out there that just need a wealth of support.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And one of the things that what triggered that as well is that when we started running retreats, we set up retreats because I know I'm going to maybe talk about this a bit more in detail later, but when we set up the retreat, because if you go online and you say, oh, I'm really burnt out, I need a bit of self-care, I'm going to take myself off on retreat. Oh, blimey, these things cost a fortune. Some of them are so expensive. And I thought, actually, what we need is something for women like us, ordinary women that can't afford to spend thousands of pounds on one weekend in the countryside doing a bit of yoga. Women like us, affordable retreat and a bit of self-care space. So that whole kind of affordability and inclusivity is really important to us as well as an organisation.
Yeah, that's a really good ethos as well. So, okay, so reverse back. What kind of got you to setting this up in the first place?
Well, I think, so a few years ago, I sort of started, it all kind of came about because of my own journey. So I've been through my own sort of transformation, I suppose. Sounds a bit cheesy, but it's true.
No, so we're all on a transformation at some point in our life.
We're all on a transformation. So I turned, it wasn't when I turned 40, it was when I turned 41. Because when I turned 41, then I'm in my 40s. And I'd been, it was 40 was all right. It was 41 that was kind of the point where I went, oh God, no, this will never do. And I'd always been overweight. I'd always struggled with my weight since I was a child and tried everything, all the diets, all the slimming clubs, the usual story. And I got to 41 and I thought, no, well, this has got to change, because I thought I don't want to get to perimenopause and menopause and be stuck with this weight, which I then can't shift. So I kind of took the decision to commit to myself for a year and see what happened. I thought, let me just commit to myself for a year, try and lose some of this weight, see what happens. And so that's what I did. And I sort of fell in love with the process, I suppose. The goal was always to lose weight. I had a lot of weight to lose. I was like a size 22. I was 18 stone. I was really sort of uncomfortable. And I didn't feel at home in my body. I just didn't like being in my own skin. And so I thought, right, let's try and do something about it. And it was actually, so my mum works in a hospice. And my mum, out of the blue, so this was about 3 years ago, one day she said, oh, the nurses at work are doing this new diet. It's called fasting, intermittent fasting. I went, oh, all right, I'll give it a go. Because I did anything. You know, you read the magazines, your friend says this, you see something online, you're like, yeah, I'll try that.
And you've probably put thousands and thousands of pounds in over the years of
money. Honestly, the money, ridiculous. But more than that, it's that disappointment, that constant cycle of disappointment and shame. I call it it's the lose, gain, shame cycle. Oh. Because you're just going, and I just went round and round and round, and I'd lose a little bit, I might lose a couple of stone or I might lose a couple of pounds, and it would be good for a while and I'd be happy, but I never, ever managed to keep the weight off. I just up and down for years. So my mum said, oh, the nurses are doing this thing called intermittent fasting. And I thought, well, yeah, let me give it a go. So I downloaded, there is app. There's an app for everything. So I downloaded it. There is. So I downloaded the app and I gave it a go. And it wasn't easy. It was quite hard to begin with. I'm not going to lie. It was quite challenging because it was very different for me. And it takes a lot of sort of discipline, sort of being quite disciplined. And personal determination, which I didn't have that much of at the time. But as the time went on, it got easier and it just became a way of life, actually. It became a really normal, natural way for me to eat and to live. And now I still do it now because it's how I manage my weight now. So now it's just a way of life. It's a fasting lifestyle. It's just how I live. It's just how I do things. But so losing the weight is one thing. So I lost 7 stone over about 2.5 years.
Wow. That's huge. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. So I'm a size 10 now. My goal was, when I started, that how they say don't have massive goals, have small goals and incremental steps.
Yeah.
And all I can remember thinking at the time, all I'd really love to be able to do is walk into Marks and Spencer's and buy something pretty in a size 14. Because I was fed up when you're bigger, when you're plus size, I mean, the clothes can be pretty ugly.
Yeah.
Sort of baggy, black, as much of your body as you can cover as possible. And I thought I'd really love to be able to buy something with a bit of colour in it, maybe something with a bit of shade. And I'd really like to just go into Marks and Spencer's, pick something up in a size 14, buy it, take it home, wear it. That was my goal. And at the time, honestly, that was so far away. I thought I actually, in the back of my head, I thought I probably won't achieve that because I hadn't been a size 14 since I was probably a teenager.
But that's 4 dress sizes down from what you were, though. So that is a huge goal.
That is a big goal. I should have done it one step at a time, but that was the end goal for me. That was where I wanted to be. But anyway, that was fine. And I just remember thinking that was so clear in my head, that goal, because I remember thinking, that's what I want to do. And it sounds so simple, just going into Marks and Spencer's and buying a dress. Sounds so simple. But you don't have those options. You don't have those choices when you need to buy a size 22. You don't have the choices that other women have. And I thought, yeah, I'd love to be able to do that. So that was the goal. And there was that doubt, there was that doubt at the time. But but what happened over the course of those couple of years? So over about 2 years, I just discovered that actually I lost a little bit of weight, and, it kind of boosts your confidence and stuff. And you go down to an 18, then a 16, then a 14. I kept buying jeans. I found these jeans that I loved in Next. I thought, oh, I really like these jeans. And I bought them in a 20, then I bought them in an 18, then a 16. And I thought, oh, I'm going down. So I'm just buying the same pair of jeans, a size smaller each time. So I could see that I was going down. I could see that my body was changing and all the rest of it. But that wasn't the focus anymore. Losing the weight wasn't the focus, because what I'd done, and it was completely sort of accidental really, but what I'd done is kind of fallen in love with the journey, because what I'd done is prioritize my self-care then. When I discovered that actually I am worth looking after, and because I'm a valuable person, and I started to believe that actually I'm a valuable person. I had this intrinsic motivation that I wanted to be happy, and I wanted to feel good, and I wanted to feel comfortable in my skin, and I wanted to do all these things. And the self-love and the self-care became the focus. It became the priority. And because I was looking after myself, and this is what I love, and this is where the work that I do comes from. Because for so many years of my life, I had that obsessive quest, like lots of women do, with making the numbers on the scale go down, right? And it was all about, I've lost a pound. Yeah. And I can remember going to Slimming World meetings, and you've been really good, and you felt like you've really sacrificed, and you've done everything right, and you sit there and you get weighed and you've lost half a pound. And I thought, half a pound, I could take my cardigan off. Do you know what I mean? And then the woman next door's lost 5 pounds, and she'd been eating kebabs all week, and I'm comparing myself to her, thinking, hang on a minute. And it was so demoralizing, and it was so depressing. It's that obsessive quest with the numbers. It's got to go down. It's got to go down. And if it doesn't go down, then I'm not good enough. Then I haven't done it right. I haven't been good enough at this diet. Right. So I kind of rejected all of that and started looking after myself, because I believed that I was worth looking after. And that's where it changed. That was a whole kind of mindset shift. Because then when I totally took the emphasis off the scales and off the numbers, so looking after myself includes eating, feeding my body properly, nourishing myself, eating good food. It means moving my body. It means exercising. It means getting some sleep. It means all of these things, all of these different ways that you can nourish yourself. That's what I prioritized. And then I feel like the weight loss then, and I still feel like this now, the weight loss is a side effect of self-love rather than the obsessive quest.
Yes.
Which is where I think we get it wrong. I think we need to just, when we learn to fall in love with ourselves and we look after ourselves because we're worth it.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I love the fact that you got to learn to love yourself. And that is so important, because I completely resonate with you. And I'm sure there's many people that are listening that, they might not, it doesn't matter what size you are. If you gain some weight and you can see a change in your body, and then you start focusing on, but then the more that we tell ourselves we can't eat this, the more that we want it, because our brain's thinking about it. But I was in a relationship when I was younger, and for some reason in that relationship, I just got very comfortable. We ate out all the time, and I ended up like a size 20. But I know that what comes with that is there's very few photographs of me from that time, because I lost my confidence. I didn't want to have my photograph taken. I didn't feel comfortable in my clothes. Like you said, I didn't feel comfortable, going to a spa with the girls, going to the beach, on holiday, going swimming, no. You kind of start to have that self-doubt. And don't get me wrong, there are probably plenty of plus size ladies out there who have got lots of self-confidence. And it's not to say that you can't be big and have self-confidence. That's not what we're saying at all. And we're not saying that, you don't go on diets and stuff and that they don't always work. I completely agree with you. I tried the other one, not Slimming World. I tried Weight Watchers, and, it worked for me for a time. And then I just got into my regular habits again. And I think it's what's going on inside your brain that kind of like, why are you comfort eating? Why is it because you don't have enough time in your life to prep food? Is that what it is? Can you not afford the healthy food? There's many reasons, but it's never normally just the like food to mouth thing, if that makes sense.
No. Oh, it's so complex.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the fact that, you know, you were able to kind of get to that point of self-love. But hey, I've got a question, right? So for anybody out there who is, you know, on that weight loss journey, when you got to like the size below, did you then get rid of all of those clothes above you, or did you kind of keep them in the back thinking, oh my God, at some point I might go back up there?
No, got rid of them straight away. So as soon as I got down to the next size, that was it. The clothes went. Anything that because I'm not keeping it in reserves, right? Because my thinking was, if I put those size 18, size 20 jeans in the back of the cupboard, I know I've got those size 18, size 20 jeans. I don't want to wear them again. I don't want them to fit me again. So I'm going that way and I'm not going backwards. So no, as soon as they didn't fit, I got rid of them. I haven't kept anything.
That's good.
Because I don't want that kind of notion in the back of my mind that I've got that as a kind of safety net, because that's not where I am now.
Yes, that's awesome. There you go. So anybody who's listening, if you've been on a weight loss journey, get rid of the old clothes.
Get rid of the old.
Also, in the whole world of woo, which I absolutely love, is, you know, if you are cleaning out things, like basically decluttering, you're making more room for good things to come into your life. So there's an energy movement there. And if you have got associated feelings of like concern or shame or whatever it is that go along with, you know, being that bigger size, then that energy is sitting in your clothes. Get rid of them, get it out of your house and like clear it out, because then more things will come in. It's just the flow of how energy works. So
absolutely, I completely agree. Exactly. I didn't want that because that was kind of like stagnant energy for me. You know, it kind of represented something old, and that needed to move through because I wasn't there anymore. And I was on this different vibe, and I was attracting this different energy. So that's kind of where I was going with that.
Amazing.
But yeah.
So talk to me about the intermittent fasting, because I have heard of a number of different ways of doing it. So I've heard of the 5-2 diet, and I have tried that myself. And for some reason, it's very popular with a lot of army people. So I'm friendly with quite a few military people, and they're doing like kind of 60. So they'll only eat between the hours of like 12 and 7 p.m. or something like that. Yeah. And then they won't eat the rest of the time. So like, is that what you mean, or is there a different way of doing it?
There are various ways. Now, what I would say is, like anything, intermittent fasting won't be for everybody, right? So obviously, if you're pregnant, breastfeeding, if you've got a history of disordered eating, if you're underweight, if you've got some medical condition. So it won't be for everybody. For me, it was the only thing that enabled me to lose weight and keep that weight off. It's sustainably. See, I'm all about sustainable weight loss. Yeah. I reject toxic diet culture. I reject the yo-yo cycle, the carousel that we continue to go around. I'm not interested in that. This is the only way I've been able to lose weight sustainably and in a healthy way. So like I lost 7 stone, but over like 2.5 years. So that's a couple of pounds a week. You know, that's a healthy loss over a long period of time, which is what I promote. And I've got a couple of ebooks in case people are interested. So one of the things I start out saying is, this isn't a diet. It isn't a get thin quick. It isn't a plan. It is, you know, there aren't any shortcuts. If you've got a significant amount of weight that you want to lose, it's going to take you a long time. If you want to lose a significant amount of weight in 5 minutes, then that's not going to stay off. So it is a process and it is a journey, which is why I call it a holistic weight loss journey. So yes, you've got the 5-2. So some people eat normally 5 days a week, healthily, but normally 5 days a week. And then they fast for 2 days a week, which means they eat 500 calories. I don't do that because that doesn't work for me, because that's a bit severe. That's a bit severe for me. So that's not my choice. So what I do, I started out with 16-8, which is what lots of people might be familiar with. So 16-8 is where you fast for 16 hours and you eat all your calories within an 8-hour window. Now that fasting period obviously includes when you're asleep. So it's not as long as it sounds.
Yeah.
I started with that. I think I might have even built up to that. So with my client, don't forget, like what we tend to do, we might get up, we might have breakfast in the morning, and we might still be sitting in front of the telly at 9 o'clock at night, having a glass of wine, eating some crisps, right? Or whatever. So we're eating all day from morning till evening. So suddenly introducing a fasting window can be a bit of a shock for some people, like, whoa, what on earth is this? So for people who have that kind of eating pattern, I just say start with 12 hours. Just find 12 hours where you're not eating. You can have tea, herbal tea, black coffee, water, but just no food, right? And just try and give your body that rest. And then what you do is you build up. So build up to 14 hours, 16 hours. Once I'd been doing it for a while, I'd been doing it for about 6 months and I started to plateau. So my weight loss stopped. I was stuck at the same weight for ages. So then I kind of shifted it up a gear and I went from 16.8 to 18.6, which is what I follow now. So I eat my day's calories in about a 5 or 6 hour window.
Wow.
And I fast the rest of the time. And that helps me to maintain my weight. So I've stayed the same weight for ages. Which is good because it I don't weigh myself obsessively, I've got a very healthy attitude to my body and my weight now, which is not what I had for so long, but I kind of cultivated this sort of positive relationship now. So, but I still do it because it's how I'm going to maintain it. But it's more than just weight loss as well. It gives you so much more energy.
Yeah.
Fasting it's got so many benefits, so many health benefits. I mean, if you spend 10 minutes on Instagram, you'll see 10 different recommendations for intermittent fasting. It's everywhere. Lots of people do it. It gives me energy. It gives me clarity and focus. It helps obviously control my weight. My skin is better. Everything's I feel better. I feel energized.
But that's not like you don't eat what you want, do you? You don't eat what you want in that period of time. You eat like you're still eating healthily. It's not like I'm going to go and have a massive pizza and like some bags of crisps and stuff.
But if that's what you want though, you can, because that's the other thing. When I first started, I was still eating a load of crap. I'm still eating If I wanted a McDonald's, I'd go and have a McDonald's. I would just eat whatever I wanted just in that window. Now, as my journey's gone on, and I've discovered, so again, part of the journey, I've learned a lot more. I'm studying nutrition at the moment. I've learned a lot more about nutrition. I've qualified to teach yoga. So that gives me an insight into kind of how the body works as well. And also, so what I'm kind of really interested in at the moment is ultra processed foods. Cool. So now I've moved, like, not only for myself, but for my kids as well, which they have stopped moaning. It took a while, but they've stopped moaning. But I have moved us as a family away from ultra processed food as much as possible. So yes, when I started my fasting journey, I still ate whatever I wanted. I still ate some rubbish. Now I choose not to eat that food because I know that it's not doing me any good, because I've done all of the re-education. I've learned about food. I've learned about what I need to nourish my body. And the key thing for me, the key word is nourishment. So it's about what food actually nourishes me, actually makes my body work. What does my body need? And then an exercise and sleep. It's not just food, it's the whole bundle. Exercise, sleep, movement, all of that. Meditation, yoga, all of that nourishes me. So it's about kind of engaging in the world in a way where I'm taking the good stuff. If I want a McDonald's or a KFC, which, I have had the occasional emergency McDonald's, when you're traveling and you have to go to the services, there's nothing else to eat. So you have to have a Burger King. I mean, I have had an emergency Burger King at the services. I'm not a saint. I do eat stuff like that sometimes. But if I've got a choice, then I'll choose not to eat it. I'll make a better choice. Yeah. And that's got nothing to do with weight now, to be honest. In the past, it would have had everything to do with weight and weight loss. Now it's about nourishment. It's about putting good stuff into my body because I want to look after myself.
Yeah, I'm exactly
totally
the same.
Different mindset.
That. Yeah, I love that. I want to look after yourself, and I think I'm like you. Like, I'm 44 now, so I'm like mid-40s. I know that perimenopause, menopause is coming my way. It's something that we can't change, and actually, for me, it's not about I want to look like this. I want to fit into this, and I'm very much like you in the fact that I don't have scales in my flat at all. Yeah. I don't own a pair of scales, but it's like, do my clothes feel good? Is my skin healthy? Yeah. Do I feel
How do I feel
healthy? Yeah. So yeah, I'm very conscious of the fact that I need to be giving my body the optimum tools it needs to kind of get me through whatever stages are coming for me in life. But I'll tell you something about fasting, which I'm very interested in. So I think a lot of the listeners will know, because I've mentioned it on previous podcasts, my mum's got Parkinson's and dementia.
Right.
And obviously any form of like dementia, Alzheimer's, anything like that, I think there's about 400 forms of them. It's all about the proteins that are attaching themselves to parts of your brains. And actually part of the benefits of fasting are when your body goes into that kind of fasting mode, it goes to find the proteins in your body to break down and eat. So there is a theory, and I'm not sure it has been proven, but there is a great theory that, you know, it will then to potentially find the proteins that are heading towards your brain or in your brain already and settling. And so there is a theory that it would help like eliminate or lower the risk of dementia and things like that. And so for me, I'm on a massive journey of learning about how I can heal my body myself. What are the good things that I'm putting into it? What does it need to do? Because I want to slide sideways into my grave, having had an amazing life. I want to have my full marbles with me. I want to be really like, you know, intelligent, use my brain until my last day. And I want to be active until my last day. So amazing. This is my kind of plan in life. So I'm interested in everything like that. So yeah,
I love it. No, it's great.
Yeah.
No, I absolutely love that, because actually these are things I feel like, okay, I'm going to try not to go off on a tangent.
No, go on.
So talking about nourishing ourselves, right? So the food, how food affects us, how food affects our health, food affects our mood, it affects our health. We're sold these products that are food-like substances, in my opinion, and we're feeding ourselves this stuff. We're feeding our kids this stuff. Some of this stuff is no good for our health. Some of this stuff is actually quite toxic for the body and has been shown to lead to illness, disease, disorder, you know, all of these things. And actually, I was on my Instagram yesterday. I was reading something about, I made a little video because it was one of my 4 a.m. thoughts. And I was reading about how almost or up to 50%, and in the BMA, the British Medical Association Journal, so up to 50% of GP visits in the UK are for potentially avoidable illnesses.
Wow.
And a lot of that can be put down to sort of lifestyle. So the food, inactivity, sedentary lifestyles, what we're eating. And I just think, why do we focus on what we do? We go to the doctors and we take a pill, we take a weight loss injection, we take this, that, and the other. And, you know, some of those things are really helpful for people, but those things don't come on their own. You know, some of those medications have side effects or whatever. And actually, I feel really strongly about not just treating these symptoms and getting to the root cause and saying, well, actually, and I'm only speaking for myself, but when I started looking after myself, when I started eating properly, when I started nourishing myself, when I started getting out and exercising, getting out into nature, going for a walk, connecting with my friends, not sitting at home isolated in front of the telly and all, you know, that kind of thing, it makes a huge difference, and it makes a huge difference to your health. And do you know what else as well? I feel really strongly about this. These things are free. All of these things that improve our health as a human person living on this planet are free. You can eat good, all right, you've got to pay for your food, but, you know, you can eat good produce. You can eat food, nourishing, nutritious food. You can walk in the sunshine. You get vitamin D from the sun. You can swim in the sea. You can have cold water therapy. So you can ground your feet in the earth. All of these things are available to us for free. Yeah. So I think, why aren't we making the most of it then? Sometimes we just need someone to show us the way, right?
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes we're a little bit scared, or we've lost that self-confidence, or sometimes it's, I guess, there's an overwhelm of information coming at you. You know, if you put anything into a search engine, like how many hits come back on like all of the different things that I can help you with this, I can help you with this, do this. So I guess it's finding what works for you, definitely. And
absolutely.
And then, like you said,
as well. You know, we're all different. We're all unique. This is the other thing about kind of like when you take a holistic approach to weight loss, if that's what you want, if that's your thing. A holistic approach to weight loss is what will work for you. It's your plan that you devise that works for your body, your mind, your spirit, your circumstances, your schedule. It's very particular to you. Whereas, you know, going and signing up to a one size fits all, this diet you're going to lose this amount whatever, or lose belly fat in a week, or all of these ridiculous claims. We're all very unique. Our bodies, our systems, our metabolisms, we're very unique, and we need our own holistic journey.
Yeah.
Which starts with ourselves. We need to look after ourselves.
Yeah. And that's it. And that's part of the holistic, the whole approach. Look at it. So like you said, getting out in nature, doing a little bit of exercise. That doesn't mean you have to be running, pounding the streets, sweating.
No way.
A gentle walk in nature and like nourishing your body, looking after your skin, drinking more water, kind of even like, you know, talking to people about how you are feeling. Like that's still part of that holistic thing. Like you said, it all comes down to learning to love yourself. And that's learning to love yourself, warts and all, with the wonky eye, with the one leg longer than the other, with the wobbly boobs, you know, with the cellulite.
Of course. Of course. And actually, you've just reminded me of something. So I wrote this ebook that is on my website. Now, because I wanted to kind of sort of encapsulate my journey, and I wanted to kind of put my thoughts down. So as I was kind of writing it, it kind of formed itself into this little kind of ABC. And the A is for acceptance. And the first thing you have to do, I think, is learn to accept yourself where you are. Warts and all, exactly as you said, which was really hard for me because I'd spent, blimey, forever hating myself, hating my body, loathing, detesting, feeling ashamed of my body and disgusted by it. You know, you get in the shower, you glance in the mirror, you go, oh my God, I was absolutely disgusted by myself. And so having to accept a body that I'd hated for so long was really difficult. But actually, when I did it, it was really empowering.
Yeah.
It wasn't quick. I had to cultivate it. I had to practice. I had to learn to love it. And that took time. And it was a little bit every day. It was self-care, you know, it was kind of having a nice bubble bath, touching my skin, massaging my feet, kind of looking at myself in the mirror. All of these little things cultivate, practicing gratitude, looking at my body going, okay, well, I hate my belly, and I hate that wobbly bit, but I'm grateful that my body has carried 3 children. I've had 3 children. And for that, I'm grateful. So it's about kind of cultivating gratitude. And as you do that, you're kind of changing that kind of perception in the unconscious, you know, you're changing how you feel about yourself, that kind of self-perception. And that was all part of the process. That was really empowering. But I think acceptance is definitely the first step.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just going to jump in there because I've got a piece of information. So on a previous podcast episode, you can go back and listen to it. Eva Ryder, she's like an intimacy, relationships and passion coach. And we were talking about exactly the same thing, learning to love yourself exactly where you are. And she said her tips were look in the mirror. And even if you don't like what you physically see, look at the internal side. So be grateful for your heart. It keeps beating every day. Be grateful for the lungs. You know, it like goes from oxygenated to deoxygenated blood. It like changes it all around your body. You know, be grateful for your kidneys that process things. You know, you don't have to see them to start being grateful for your body. And then you can slowly progress onto I'm grateful for the outer side. Like I'm grateful for my eyelashes. They're really long. I'm grateful for the fact that I've got hairs up my nostrils because it stops like bad stuff getting up there. And you know, like you don't have to go straight to I love my boobs, I love my hips, I love my waist type of thing.
And who's going to do that? And like, you know, you said earlier, it's all relative. Whether you've got a lot of weight or a little bit of weight, it's all relative because it's about how you feel about yourself.
Yeah.
So no, I've got a very similar, so I've got some in this ebook, it's like a coaching manual. So there are some kind of coaching questions and there's exactly the same exercise. It's about getting to a point where you can stand in the mirror and identify something that you are grateful for, that you appreciate. And it's a really powerful technique, actually. It really is. And, you know, I've lost this weight. I've lost 7 stone. I'm now a comfortable size 10. I don't have a lovely body. You know, I'm 45. I've had 3 children. I've lost 7 stone after 40. You know, I've got no boobs. My boobs have gone. I've got a wobbly belly. I've got loose skin. But I can stand in the mirror now and appreciate myself. I'm not going to go, oh, I look amazing. But I feel proud of my body. And that's a difference because I've worked on it and I've cultivated it and I've completely changed how I think and feel about it, which is very empowering, really empowering. Because when and this isn't everybody, I'm not saying this is for everybody. I'm not saying that you have to be smaller to be happy. That's not true. But I'm just talking about my own experience. I didn't want to live in a bigger body. I just didn't. I just didn't feel comfortable. And I think now that I can look back, I realize that actually having that bigger body for me is not so much about the body, it's about the confidence. I didn't have the confidence. I didn't value myself as a person, right? So now I look back and I can see that actually I played really small. Up until this point in my life, I played really small. And actually, my lack of confidence, a lot of which came from my size, held me back. It informed the decisions that I made, the jobs that I went for, the opportunities I took or didn't take, even the relationships that I chose. I played really small and really safe, and I didn't put myself out there.
Ooh, and you gave your power away. You gave your power away to your weight. And you're like, what
I did.
You thought other people would think about you.
I did. And that self-perception, I did, yeah. And it definitely kind of kept me. I had a very sort of fixed mindset about it, and I wasn't good enough. Bigger is bad. Big is bad. That's that kind of, and it's all very subtle. I'm not wearing it as a kind of out there for everyone to see. It's very subtle, but it was very much something that ran all the way through me. And I can see now, looking back, that went on for a really, really long time. But I'm not there. But I've kind of lost that. But that's part of the process, right? So I've kind of gone through this process, gone through this journey. And this is what I talk about a lot as well. So when you're so on my programs, I use intermittent fasting as a tool for weight loss, right? I use the fasting as a weight loss tool. A lot of the other stuff we do, a lot of the coaching we do, it's about changing the internal landscape. So it's about changing how we think, how we feel about ourselves, about the world, how we interact with the world around us, because you interact differently.
Yeah,
actually. So it's, it's very interesting, but it's a very empowering process. Actually.
Amy, tell us what the BC was, because you said the A was acceptance and then I interrupted you. We went on a tangent.
So A was, so the A, the B and the C. So A is for acceptance. The B is for be clear, right? That's really important. Be clear and be consistent. So be clear about your motivation, because you know what it's like. I mean, I can remember I was going on holiday. This is a long time ago, but I had a summer holiday coming up. Not that I would ever have worn a bikini. I've never worn a bikini in my life. I do plan to change that, but I haven't worn one yet. So I had a holiday coming up and I thought, oh God, I've got to lose a stone. I've got to be on the beach, so I'll have to lose a stone. So I did like a drink, I don't know if I
juice fast or whatever. Yeah.
I did one of those meal replacement drink things. And I did lose a stone, actually. I was thoroughly miserable. And it felt like a horrible experience. And I remember it with very, very poor memories. But I did lose a stone. And I went on holiday and I had a nice holiday, and I came back and I put it back on and I put more on, put it back on holiday and put more on. But so the being clear is about your motivations. Those short-term, I've got a wedding. I've got to get into a dress. Yeah. Oh, I'm going on holiday. Oh, that my husband will fancy me more if I lose a bit of weight, or I don't want to be the fat friend in the group, or whatever it is. Those are not good enough, strong enough reasons. They're not good enough, strong enough motivation. Your motivation has to be intrinsic. It has to come from inside. So my advice is always be super clear about who you're doing this for and why. And if you're not doing it for you, then it's a problem. Yes. So there's the be clear about your motivations, why you're doing it, and be consistent. You've got to do the right thing most of the time. Having the odds, having an emergency McDonald's because you haven't got anything else is not going to do you any harm. But if you're having an emergency McDonald's 3 times a week, you're not going to achieve your goals. So it's just about doing the right thing most of the time, and doing the right thing because it's what you want to do. It all ties in. When you've got that intrinsic motivation, when you've got that self-love, when you've got that self-care going on, you choose to do the right thing because you want to, because it's the right thing for your body. So there's that. So be clear, be consistent. And then C, this is my ABC of holistic weight loss. C, it's a choice. C is for choice. And I think this is really important because you can choose to stay where you are, or you can choose to make changes. It's your choice.
Yes. You can choose to stop playing small.
Yeah, you absolutely can. It's your choice. It's your life. And it's down to you to kind of make those choices for yourself. It's all about that sort of self-empowerment, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I think with women, I think we often, I know I'm a bit guilty of this, spend so much time thinking about other people, living our lives for other people, doing everything we can for other people. And sometimes we come at the bottom of the pecking order.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And I definitely do that. And when I started this kind of change, this kind of journey that I went on, I did change. And, not everyone likes it because sometimes you have to say, no, I don't do that anymore. No, thanks, kind of thing. And, not everyone likes it. And that can cause a little bit of conflict for people. But I just think so long as you have to be, it's all about being true to yourself. So that kind of, I try to cultivate this authenticity. So I'm trying to be true to myself. I'm trying to do what's right for me. Initially, I struggled with it because, again, I think this is something that women do. You say, oh, that's a bit selfish, isn't it? Oh, that's a bit selfish. If you do that, you're looking after yourself. It's a bit selfish. But actually, it isn't selfish. It's entirely and completely necessary because to look after everyone else, I need to look after myself first.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't look after people if you're dead.
Exactly. That's been a big change for me. That's been a big shift. No, so that's it. So consistency and choice.
Brilliant. Okay, so tell us about this holistic program that you do. What's it called? How do people find it?
Okay, so I have my signature program. It's called the 30-Day Reset. And basically, it's an online coaching community where I work with groups of women. I only work with women. I work with women who want to lose weight. That's usually the first thing that they think they want, right? That's the first thing they want. Oh, I need to, or they never say I want to. They always say I need to, actually, which is interesting. I need to lose weight. Yeah. Okay. So they come on this 30-day journey with me where they do lose weight. Everybody loses weight because we are using intermittent fasting as a tool. So that's going to help you lose weight. But so much more than that. It's a kickstart to your holistic weight loss journey. And it's a kickstart to doing all of that internal landscape work, all of that internal change, all of that mindset shift, which is going to move you. It's like a catalyst to move you from there to there. So you have 30 days with me, so that you can learn everything you need to know, get all the tools that you need so that you can then go and carry it on because it doesn't end. Doesn't end. It's not a diet, it's a lifestyle, right? It's a whole complete lifestyle overhaul and it's something that will go on forever. Like I don't need to lose any weight now, but I still practice the same thing. I still fast. I still do the exercise that I do. I still follow exactly the same patterns that I've been following for the last couple of years, because for me, it's a lifestyle now. So there isn't an end. So that's what it is. It's a 30-day reset. It's about resetting. We talk a lot about nourishment, nutrition, food, gut health. We talk about how to nourish your body properly, the kinds of things to eat, the kind of thing not to eat. I make sure that the women have all the tools and the information they need to kind of work out. Because the other thing with intermittent fasting is it has to fit in your life. Yes. You can't fit your life around a fasting lifestyle because it won't work. So it has to fit into your life. Now, I've got a great pattern that works for me, but it wouldn't work for everybody. So it's about working out, well, do you know what? I don't finish work till 7 o'clock. Well, there's no point saying I'm going to have dinner at 6 if I don't finish work till 7. So it's about working out all of those kinks and then finding your pattern so that you can stick to it. Then you can be consistent. So we do all of that. We do all the practical stuff. And then we do a lot of work around self-love, cultivating self-love and acceptance and changing in here. Yeah, because that's where a weight issue is in here.
In your mind.
It manifests in the body. It's in your head. It's in your head. It's getting to what's going on in here so that you can stop manifesting it in the body.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And how can people find you, Amy?
Right. So my website. So first point of call would be the website, which is women's wellbeing collective.org. There's a lot of stuff on there. There are some ebooks on there that you can download for free. There are some videos on there about how to get started with intermittent fasting. And if you want to chat to me, you can send me a message through the website. You can find us. We're on Instagram and Facebook, Women's Wellbeing Collective. Yeah, find us.
Fabulous. And I'll put all the links in the show notes anyway.
Oh, right.
Amy, I kind of feel like if anybody else has been listening, like I've been listening to this, I've really enjoyed this interview, but I've literally sat like a nodding dog, like the whole time. My head is like, yes, yes. And I'm sure everybody listening is probably doing exactly the same thing. Right. So I'm going to try and pull out the best bits and the takeaways from this, because there was so much. Okay. So for anybody out there who is in that kind of, I love the way you put it, the lose, gain, shame cycle, basically ask yourself, are you playing small and are you frightened, and are you giving your power over to food, over to, you know, your weight or your lack of confidence? And if that is you, know that if you just are honest with and owning where you are right now, 100% you can make a shift. You can make a shift. But
absolutely,
another thing you said is, so start easy. You don't have to go.
Don't kill yourself.
Full out. Yep. Absolutely.
Don't go to the gym. You don't have to go to the gym and run your, I go to the gym and I see people really pushing that. I walk. So I go to the gym. I walk. I do an incline walk on a treadmill 3 to 4 times a week. I do like quite a steep incline for 60 minutes because it's about strength and endurance for me. And I see people on the treadmill next to me absolutely hammering themselves. And I just think, you really don't need to do that.
No point. All right. Okay.
You don't need to do that.
Next takeaway is, so we're going to start easy. Be true to yourself and do what's right for you. You've got to nourish yourself, but ultimately weight loss is only a side effect of loving yourself. So you've got to learn to love yourself. That is the most important thing.
Absolutely. Because if you're not looking after yourself, if you don't value yourself, if you don't believe that you're valuable, you're not going to do it, are you?
And nobody else is going to believe you're valuable either.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this morning I was thinking about talking to you and something just popped into my head. And I thought, if I was going to kind of summarize it, what would I say? And I thought, actually, we're moving from punishment to nourishment. So nourishing ourselves in a holistic way, mind, body, and spirit, not punishing ourselves, nourishing ourselves.
Perfect. And on that note, that's it. That's the perfect way to end this chat. So thank you ever so much, Amy, for spending this amazing time. Thank you for being honest and frank and open about your own journey. And just thank you for sharing with all my lovely listeners exactly what's going on.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
All right. Take care. See you soon.
See you. Bye.
Thanks for listening today. I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. And as always, any links or anything mentioned will be in the show notes. If you haven't connected with me already, I'd love to meet you. So come find me on Instagram at Debbie Westwell. You can always slide into my DMs and let me know what you thought about this episode. Or why not join my Facebook community, the Alchemy of Self-Care free community. You can also find out how to work with me at debbiewestwell.com. If you like what you hear, then please follow me or hit the bell icon. Share with somebody like you who would benefit from listening. And if you have time, then leave me a positive review and that would be fabulous. Thank you for being your wonderful self, and I can't wait to chat next time.